Welcome to the Roe Jogan Experiment. I'm your host, Roe Jogan, elk meat connoisseur, UFC color guy, and part-time interdimensional cable repairman. Today, we got two absolute freight trains of chaos. Alex Jones, the human megaphone who's been screaming since the womb, and Uncle Joey Diaz, the Cuban comet who'll snort a line of oregano and call it Tuesday. Boys, you ready to melt faces?
Roey, they're turning the freaking elk gay.
I swear, on my mother's mustache, if one more elk looks at me sideways, I'm stuffing it with plantains and calling it dinner, dog.
Alex, chill. My elk jerky sponsor just texted me, said the elk are unionizing. Joey, you ever try elk on a come down?
Come down? Roe? I don't come down, I just switch planets. Last elk I saw was wearing a wire. FBI, CIA, maybe the DMV. Who knows? Trail was driving.
Listen, the globalists are injecting elk with 5G microdoses. That's why your jerky's glowing, Ro. I saw it. Me on hooves. They're building an elk army to replace the Boy Scouts.
Jamie, pull up the elk cam. Wait, wrong Jamie. I mean my producer Jamie, who's definitely not a lizard. Alex, you saying the elk are in on it?
In on it? They're the generals. Elk antlers are 6G antennas. Every rack is a satellite dish beaming thoughts into your pineal gland. That's why you crave jerky. It's mind control, Ro.
Mind control? Roe, the only thing controlling my mind is the ghost of my uncle's Perico. I once saw an elk do the Macarena in the Poconos. Swear on my titanium hip, it had rhythm.
Joey, you telling me an elk danced? Was it on coke?
Roe, everything in the Poconos is on coke. Squirrels, priests, the freaking trees. That elk, it was the Pablo Escobar of the forest, dog. Had a fanny pack full of quaaludes.
Quaaludes? That's how they're sedating the masses. The elk are middlemaning the globalist lewds. I got documents, watermarked by the Builderberg Petting Zoo.
Hold up, Alex, you're saying the Bilderbergs have a petting zoo? With elk?
Petting zoo? It's a petting gulag. They're grooming the elk to groom us. Next thing you know, Bambi's your Uber driver, and he's asking for your DNA.
DNA? Roe, I gave my DNA to a bodega cat in '87. Still sends me Christmas cards. That elk, probably my cousin. Same eyes, same bad decisions.
Oh, your family tree's a cactus. Everybody on it's a prick. Alex, what's the endgame with the elk?
Endgame? They're going to make us all vegans by force-feeding us elk tears. The tears are laced with estrogen. That's why your beard's patchy, Ro. Elk tears in the water supply.
My beard's patchy because I sieve it into a lightning bolt for aerodynamic podcasting. Joey, you buying this?
Roe, I buy anything if it comes with a side of mofongo. But elk tears? That's some sad shit. I cried once, 79, lost a bet to a raccoon. That raccoon? Probably an elk in disguise.
Disguise? They're shapeshifters. I saw an elk turn into Hillary Clinton at a Waffle House. She ordered hash browns, scattered, smothered, and weaponized.
Weaponized hash browns? That's a Waffle House black op. Jamie, pull up the Waffle House surveillance. Elk, Hillary, go.
Roe, forget Waffle House. I saw an elk at Denny's doing open mic. Bombed harder than my cousin's wedding. Crowd threw pancakes. Elk took it like a champ, then stole the tip jar.
Tip jar? That's how they fund the New World Order. Elk buskers? Next, they'll be on OnlyFans. Antler content, Ro, pay-per-view hoof stuff.
Elk OnlyFans? I'd subscribe if they did jujitsu tutorials. Joey, you rolling with an elk?
Roll? I'd let an elk choke me out if it promised me a lifetime supply of pastelitos. But that elk gotta have papers. Last one I trusted sold me baking soda and called it Angel Dust Light.
Baking soda? That's the deep state's new fentanyl. They're cutting it with elk dander. One sniff and you're voting for lizard people.
I voted for a lizard in '96. Thought it was Ross Perot. Alex, what's the antidote to elk dander?
Ivermectin and patriotism. Wash it down with my super male vitality. Now with 47% more elk defiance. Turn your pineal gland into a fortress.
Fortress? Roe, my pineal gland's a pinata. Everybody's taking a swing. Last time I took ivermectin, I woke up in a petting zoo married to a llama. Llama's name? Alex.
Coincidence? That llama was a deep state plant, probably bugged. Check its hump, Joey. Bet it's a hard drive.
Joey, you married to a spy llama? That's a hell of a prenup.
Prenup? Roe, the only thing I signed was a cocktail napkin that said till death or deportation. Llama's still texting me. Wants alimony and alfalfa.
Alfalfa? That's code for adrenochrome. The elk are harvesting it from cartoon characters? Little rascals? Deep state training videos.
Little rascals? I thought that was just bad parenting. Joey, you ever harvest adrenochrome?
Harvest? Roe, I once harvested a whole pizza from a dumpster. Pepperoni was still breeding. That's as close as I get to elite rituals.
Dumpster pizza. That's how they're poisoning the resistance. The pepperoni's made of elk lips. I got lab results signed by a whistleblower giraffe.
Giraffe whistleblower. That's a long neck of credibility. Joey, you eating elk lips?
Lips. Roe, I kissed an elk once. Vegas, 2003. Lost a bet to a magician. Elk had better game than half the comics I know. Still owes me $20.
$20? That's the globalist bribe rate. The elk are paying off comedians to push the vegan agenda. Open mic nights? Psyops.
My last open mic, a deer heckled me, called me a beta buck. I cried into my elk jerky. Therapeutic.
Therapeutic? Roe, the only therapy I need is a blunt and a bad decision. Elk heckling? That's foreplay. I take it to dinner, then rob it.
Rub it? It's probably a fed. Elk are wearing wires in their antlers. I saw one with AirPods, streaming NPR propaganda straight to the herd.
NPR? That's how they radicalize the forest? Joey, you listening to elk podcasts?
Podcasts? Roe, the only podcast I trust is the one in my head, narrated by Scarface and a parrot I met in jail. That parrot? Probably an elk.
Parrot? Polymorphed elk. They're infiltrating the avian community. Next, they'll be in your Cheerios. Bud flu was a drill.
Bird flu drill? I got vaccinated with elk spit. Placebo tasted like freedom. Joey, you vaxxed?
Vaxxed? Roe, I got vaxxed with a Cuban sandwich and a prayer. Still waiting for the side effects. Mostly heartburn and revolution.
Revolution? That's what the elk want. They're going to storm the Capitol with antlers. January 6th was a dry run. Elk in MAGA hats.
Elk in MAGA hats? That's a hell of a cosplay. Joey, you storming with the elk?
Storming? Roe, I'd ride an elk into battle if it promised me front row seats to the apocalypse. I'd bring tostones, war snacks.
Tostones? That's the globalist kryptonite. Fry 'em in freedom oil. Elk can't handle the crunch.
Freedom Oil. Now that's a sponsor. Alex, Joey, final thoughts before the elk invade?
Stockpile ivermectin. Eat your enemies and scrape at the sky. The elk are coming.
Roe, tell the elk bring it. I'll suplex it, smoke it, then apologize in Spanish. Cocksuckers.
And that's the show. Elk, Chaos, and Cuban Curses. I'm Roe Jogan. Stay savage, eat jerky, and question everything. Peace.